What's going on, everybody? My name's Chris. Welcome to Bourbinsane. Today we're going to be trying a product from actually a place where I work, Sam's Club, and this is the Members Mark Bourbon. Now, right on this bottle, it says Barton 1792 Distillery, 90 proof. So we know this is a Barton product. It says 1792 right on it. So what I want to do is I want to try this. At the end of the review, I'm going to try it side by side against the 1792 small batch, see how different it actually is. I have a theory on what's in this bottle as compared to the small batch, so I'll get into that at the end as well. But let's start right with it. From Barton, as I mentioned, it's 75% corn, 15 they say percent rye, and then the rest being barley. 15 to 25 is where I've seen, so it's hard to tell for sure. Color, very light, probably some young stuff. You know, no age statement on this. The 1792 small batch is, again, no age statement, but probably around 4 year maybe. 4 to maybe 5, 4 to 6. So this is probably maybe even younger. Very thin on the nose. Very thin on the nose. It's got a little bit of a candied citrus to it though, which is interesting. I don't normally pick that up off Barton stuff, but it's almost like a candied citrus. Orange peel, lemon peel a little bit. So maybe there's more rye influence coming through on this bottle as compared to some other Barton stuff I've had. A lot of Barton stuff, you know, even if it is higher rye than some other stuff, I don't get a huge rye kick on it. It smells youthful, smells grainy, which this was $19 out the door, $18.98 I think. So come on, I mean, at that price, what are you gonna do? I bought this thinking it was just gonna be a mixer bourbon, you know, so that's what I'm going into it as. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. Yeah, it's a mixer bourbon. But you don't know until you try. You don't know until you try. The nose was actually much better than the palate, honestly. Super thin. Super thin being 90 proof. Not a huge amount of alcohol, like ethanol kick on the palate, which is good. I was expecting more of that. So not too much of that, but it's so thin, like you take a sip and it's immediately just gone, washed out the back of your palate. The citrus is still there. I mean, it's like a tangerine, you know, little cutie. Not much spice. You know, I mentioned the spice on the nose, but it's more that classic Barton flavor profile where it's almost like a little bit of chocolatey vanilla caramel for me. And not much spice on the palate. Could just be the 90 proof tricking me. You know, spicier stuff, hotter stuff is often tasting spicier. So let's give it one more sip. Yeah, I wouldn't want to drink this straight. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't. It's just not going to be a go-to for that. But, you know, 19 bucks, I wouldn't mind putting this on the rocks. Like on a hot day outside, I just want a bourbon. Throw it with some ice. And not going to think about it. Just drink it, you know. So for the price, you can't beat that. Worst case, you just got a mixer. You know what I mean? You got a mixer bourbon. So let's try it against the 1792 small batch. I'll be right back with that. All right. So I got the 1792 small batch here. We're going to try this side by side and just see how similar it is in every aspect, you know, real quick. Just to find out, because this, you know, as I mentioned, it says 1792 barrels on it right here. So I'm curious to see how similar it is. Color-wise, almost identical. Maybe a shade darker in the small batch over here with the 1792, which to me just tells me it's maybe a year older. You know, half year to a year older on this. Yeah. You can definitely tell they're brothers or sisters, you know what I mean, as far as the nose goes. The small batch seems to have more, I mean, I hate to say depth because neither one's very deep, but it does. You know, a little bit more complexity, a little bit more of that classic Barton you expect. I'm getting a lot more citrus though on the Members Mark. And it's not a huge amount of alcohol burn. So if you like the citrus kick, you know, if you prefer that citrus flavor profile, then this might be a better option for you. If you prefer more of the classic bourbon notes, you know, the vanillas, the caramels, that kind of stuff, small batch is probably going to be better. On the nose, let's try the small batch. Much more Barton forward, as I mentioned. Creamy vanilla, creamy garlic. Not garlic. Creamy caramel. Slight oak, not tannic. A little bit of that creamy oak, you know? We'll try this one more time too. They're so similar. They really are so similar. I don't drink the small batch neat either. Like, this isn't my go-to. I picked that for the review. But if you just like the small batch, if that's your go-to bourbon, side by side, it's almost indistinguishable. Almost. You know, for someone who's just a daily sipper and you don't think too much about your bourbon, I would just pick up the cheaper bottle. I mean, you're talking $30, $35 versus $19. You know what I mean? If you're more like me and you do look into more each bourbon, you know, you're looking for those tasting notes, you're looking for those nosing notes, you like to use Glens. Small batch gives you a little bit more of that, but it's still not something I would pick up just to sip. You know, I still wouldn't really pick this up to sip. Whoa, buddy. All right. Overall, I think for the value, you're not going to be able to beat this. For me, I know a lot of people that have been able to get the Costco, the Sam's Club brand of this stuff for a while. This just popped up to me like a month or two ago, which is crazy in Michigan. They've been carrying it. It sells out because it's so cheap, and then it's back maybe a couple weeks later. So I figured I better pick up a bottle, do a review, see what we think next to the small batch because I hadn't done this yet. And for me, the value, save yourself $10. Get this. I mean, really, because I'm going to use it as a mixer anyway. I'm not going to be sipping it neat. If you do want a little more depth, a little more complexity, go ahead. Go ahead and get the small batch. This is 46%. Did I mention that as well? This is only 45. I mean, you're talking 1.5% difference. Indistinguishable on the palate, even for trained people. So, thank you all so much for watching this review. I hope you guys like these side-by-sides. I'm loving being back to Whiskey Tube, honestly. Love being back to reviews. I miss this so much. I miss interacting with you guys and doing this kind of stuff. Let me know what else you guys want to see. I'll try budget stuff. I'll try expensive stuff. As long as I can find it. That's the important thing. So let me know what you think. Have you had this bourbon before? I'm curious. If so, are you with me? Do you like it more? Do you like it less? And what's the most you'd pay for it? You know? If you haven't already, please do check out my Patreon page over patreon.com/Bourbinsane. And best way to support the channel. You know, I'm getting back into this, loving doing these reviews, and I appreciate every one of you. I really do. One other thing is I'm still full blow at the website right now, bourbinsane.com, putting out news, reviews, these kind of reviews just in more depth and detail than the videos. So if you like that, please head over there. Have me a follow on that and check those out. You know, just give it a read. Give it a read. If you're someone who likes to read content versus watch video or both, you know, it really supports the channel just by doing that alone. So, but I thank each and every one of you so much for all the support. Loving being back, baby. Loving being back to whiskey. Thank you so much for everything. Stay insane.